Hello and welcome to the Gifted Ed podcast. We are your hosts,
Angel Van Howe, Gifted Coordinator and SEL Facilitator,
and Meghan McCarthy, Social Worker. We're grateful for the opportunity to share this space with you today as we talk about the complexities of giftedness. So let's get started.
We'd like to start our episode today with having you take a moment and think about how you would define gifted, introverted, and extroverted students. We're going to take you on an exploration of these concepts and examine how these learning styles impact students' experiences. Extroverts outnumber introverts by 3 to 1. However, gifted introverted students are the majority within the gifted population. Given this, we'll focus more attention on the experiences of introverted gifted students.
Generally speaking, a school day is typically full of large groups. For example, in the lunchroom, at recess, and in the gym. All of these instances are ideal for the student who likes to be with others, who talks easily and loudly to anyone who will listen, who tolerates crowds and noise, who gets energized by large groups of people. Large groups provide opportunities for high levels of social engagement with a wide variety of people.
For extroverts, school can be an invigorating place that offers a comfortable setting for those who thrive with social interaction. For extroverts, meaning comes from outside and is reinforced by engagement in activities, relationships, and events. They feel energized by people and prefer larger friend groups. They tend to be outspoken in groups, like to take risks, think out loud, and make decisions quickly. They understand the world through acting and reacting to it. They prefer to learn by trial and error and like a faster pace.
But what if you get energy from your own ideas, thrive in a quiet environment, and prefer to respond when you have made thoughtful consideration? Where can you be alone, or at least with a few others, during the school day? How do adults and peers look at introverted students who may request to work alone? How much of the day is dedicated to private reflection or enforced quiet? As educators, it's important to reflect on those questions so that we may understand how our expectations impact the gifted introverted population. Do our expectations of gifted influence from our own introvert and extrovert perspectives? How do we accommodate different learning preferences and balance the demands of each learning style?
Gifted introverted students tend to get energy from inside of themselves. They require time to strengthen their personal understanding of themselves in order to meet the demands of their environments. They may feel drained by socialization, especially from large groups of people. They prefer to have a few close friends instead of large peer groups. They generally present as quiet and observant in public group environments.
Let's identify preferences and behavior patterns that may help us understand the differences between introvert and extrovert learning styles. When we look at the temperaments of introversion and extroversion, we observe the way a child processes energy, renews during the day, learns and interacts with their environments.
Take a journey with me. Let's imagine a scenario with a gifted introverted student named Sam. The scenario takes place in the classroom during a book discussion. Students come to sit in a circle to discuss literacy concepts and book content related to a novel that the whole class is reading. Sam sits and waits for the teacher to begin the discussion on last night's chapter. The teacher asks a question regarding the main character and solicits their feedback. Sam pauses and waits. He then listens to his peers share their responses. Sam is considering each student's answer and thoughtfully crafting his response based on his experiences and personal connections with the text, as well as the new perspectives that he's just heard. He revises his response to incorporate what he has synthesized from hearing from his peers. He then mentally rehearses how he will explain his thoughts to the group. It's important to Sam to express his idea as clearly as he can. He makes decisions about what he will include or omit from his response. As he is engaging with his thought process, the pace of the conversation has advanced. Now the window of opportunity to share his comment isn't as relevant because the discussion has progressed to a different topic. Sam feels frustrated and remains quiet.
All of Sam's internal processing isn't visible to his teacher or his peers. So externally, think how Sam might be perceived. That he's not engaged, he's zoned out, he doesn't care, he's not as smart as his peers, or he's shy. If we were to see inside his mind, we would observe that things are quite different. Sam is an introverted, gifted student. He needs to observe the world in order to gain meaning from it. He exercises careful contemplation and responds with thoughtful consideration. He prefers to digest information before responding. He thrives with activities that allow for pauses and slower-paced discussions that include time for reflection. As many other gifted students, he has a desire to express himself accurately and has a propensity towards perfectionism.
As educators, what can we do? Here are some strategies and ideas to consider. When creating lessons, keeping in mind that extroverts require direct experiences with the environment, while introverts tend to learn through observation. Introverts may prefer lectures, expository, and deductive modes of instruction. Providing student agency for how to demonstrate what they have learned benefits both introverts and extroverts. Teachers can make informed decisions with regard to grouping, giving opportunities for a child to work alone when possible. Embed time for reflection within assignments that allow for a pause or a space to digest what is being asked.
Consider sharing discussion questions a day ahead with the class so that introverts have time to process their thoughts and observations about the topic. Balance with group and individual projects. Honor the need for structure, quiet, and small groups. Provide wait time for the whole class when asking questions. And foster a classroom culture for all students to openly talk about their temperament and learning style. The more children understand their own unique truth about their personality, learning style, and temperament, the more they accept themselves and others.
Different learning and temperament styles bring different challenges for both extroverted and introverted students. Let's touch on extroverts first. They desire to verbally process out loud and learn by doing. This can pose challenges with peer interactions when they aren't aware of the social requirements of conversational turn-taking or allowing other space to make uninterrupted decisions. Extroverts may need guidance with how to read the social situation to be able to see when they overwhelm their friends.
And now for introverts. Introverts who require solitude to rejuvenate may be misperceived for having poor social skills, especially in a school environment where they are expected to be social or socially interact without any solitude throughout the day. Their reserved temperament may be viewed as being withdrawn, rude, or egotistical, and they may need guidance with how to balance their need for solitude with socializing. So, to summarize, gifted introverted students' learning styles require you to look deeper because their processing isn't observable externally. They will benefit from your understanding of how they need to formulate their responses, recharge themselves, and relate to others. It may take some time and support to incorporate strategies for gifted introverted students, but providing these students with these 3 suggestions can be powerful.
The first being space away from large groups. The second being enforced quiet. And the third, options to work with small groups or independently. If you already have incorporated these strategies, then reflect on the following questions. Being that introverts tend to learn through observation and not through direct experiences, how would you adapt your lessons? How can you embed reflection time within assignments? How do you provide introverts with more agency to demonstrate what they have learned, not in a group?
We want to thank you for joining us in this space today. Please subscribe to the Gifted Ed podcast to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Stay tuned for our next episode that continues to unpack the complexities of giftedness.